What's up, everyone? And you are watching Crypto Grinders. In this episode, we are having the infamous Vays, ex risk analyst in Bear Stearns, and then obviously VP in JP Morgan Chase, who is going to be joining us. However, he just did a live stream 1 hour ago, and he mentioned that he was on his way to the Taj Mahal, which is fine, right? I'm just waiting on him. I hope he kind of has internet or something like that. But I think if you're going to be doing a live stream, then it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Hope everyone can hear us well. Tone obviously is very well known for his technical analysis, and at the same time, his very strong sentiments about how he feels about the ICO space. He's very passionate about Bitcoin and educating the space, especially folks who are still curious about trading and investing in the space. And I think we are very honored to have him as a guest. However, he is also known to be slightly fashionably late for even on his usual streams. I've already emailed him, but I'm not very sure whether he'll be on board. But nonetheless, even if he isn't, we'll be able to still continue the state of the markets. But it would just be a shame to not have Tone on the show. So let's just see where he is. Let me just check my email to make sure that I did mention it was a live stream. Yes. Okay. This is a live stream. Yeah. Okay. So I did mention that we are going to be doing a live stream, guys. But nonetheless, let's just wait a little bit for him, and then let's see whether he turns up. Don't want to get everyone excited, and then in the end of the day, like, you know, he kind of he is traveling, guys. He is traveling at the moment. So I've already sent all the details to him. He's pretty aware of today's live stream, but nonetheless, it's okay. So how's everyone today? Johnny K, what's up, Johnny? You probably popped by quite a bit. Say hi to the stream. I mean, say hi in the stream, guys, in the chat, if you are watching. So at least we know that you are here. And then if there's any questions that you like to ask Tone, I think it would be a great time to ask him. He doesn't like people asking him about ICO projects. He doesn't promote ICO projects. And most of the time, he's very focused on trading the traditional markets as well. I'm not sure whether he still trades equities. From what I understand, he does. And he's mostly a derivative trader. Okay, right. So, okay, guys, let's just wait and see whether Tone is available. We'll give this another few minutes more, and then it will be one of those things, right? Yeah. And by the way, if you've always been catching Tone's live streams, usually the man can be 15 minutes late. Yeah. So, but in the meantime, right? How has the recent pullback in the Bitcoin markets been for you guys? I think this is a great time for me to at least chat with you all and see how I can address them accordingly. I think the recent pullback gives us more opportunities to accumulate, because I think every time it hits the $4,000 mark, the FOMO does genuinely kick in, if you notice. But however, a lot of folks actually got liquidated, especially if they decided to go long on the derivatives market, which is in this case Bitmex or whatever futures contracts. My sentiment is that I would recommend, or I would be someone who would only be buying Bitcoin and not trading it aggressively, right? I wouldn't be interested in looking at the derivative market at the moment. I would just prefer to hold Bitcoin itself. There are pretty much, on the other hand, when in comparison to how Tone approaches this space, I think we are still very open to doing business with projects or companies that are in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. I feel that there can be genuine companies that want to create a solution and can solve existing legacy system problems. It's just that it's going to take longer than what the whole market anticipates. So if you're asking about a certain particular project, like for example, we are looking at, we are definitely open to looking at social media platforms, esports platforms. We are open to anything that is involving properties, any kind of financial gateways or payment gateways. We are open to look at fintech, right? I think all these innovations within blockchain are still very much possible. Obviously, you also want to have the security, the stability, and scalability at the end of the day. Okay, so this is something that you want to balance out, but it's always very difficult to do, especially if you're talking about a decentralized network. It's the most challenging. Are you in NPXS for the long haul? Now, this is a question that I think most people ask. And NPXS, if you look at their current roadmap, and they are currently in Spain doing their conference, you can safely say that they are really doing what a good blockchain company is doing, right? They are not only creating the solution. I think if you're pretty familiar with the project, they already have function. They are planning to build on Function X, which is going to be their own blockchain, and then they are already pushing out products. So you already know that they have two products, which is the POS, the X POS, and the X blockchain phone. So if you ask me, they are already providing this exemplary move where they are pushing it out into the market, right? They already done their fundraising, I think last year or in 2017. And right now they are focusing on making sure that they are able to create that adoption for their products and, of course, have support for their ecosystem. Yes. Are you good covering FX? Okay, thoughts on Augur and VeChain. Now, Augur to me, Joey Kruk, right? Joey Kruk is the CEO for. I'm not too familiar with VeChain, although we did do a short technical Tuesday on that. But I don't want to go too much into VeChain. I am excited about the prediction markets. Like, to me, right, that is a very fun element. In a way, if you think about it, it can be a derivative market in that sense, right? And when you look at the derivative markets on a whole, it's more of something that's traditional. It's always asset backed, and then from then there is a synthetic product that is made around that underlying. But when you talk about prediction markets, you are able to bet on something in the future. Okay, and of course, we all are buying into an investment in hopes that in the future it will make money, or you can bet on it that it will go down. So prediction markets are a little bit more fun. I'm not entirely sure how Augur has been progressing, because there is very little very little mass market media around it, and we're not talking about just within crypto. I don't hear much about Joey Kruk's positioning, or what is he doing in Augur as of now. But what I understand is he is invested and he is an advisor for several other projects as well. So right now, that has yet to be determined. I'm not sure whether are they out of the beta stage for Augur's prediction market. I still am not very sure. I need to go and check it out. What are your thoughts on XRP? Yeah, as RJ Jamal, you are coming in and hoping to see Tone, but Tone, like I said, he was online 1 hour ago, and right now I'm just wondering whether he will even appear, because I already emailed him. And I think he's on his way to the Taj Mahal. So I hope that because we scheduled it like last week. So Tone, if you are watching, right, we are all waiting for you. Okay. And if you've watched Tone before, he's usually fashionably late, as I mentioned earlier in the stream as well. So how do you feel about Ripple on Coinbase? I think, well, hey, any kind of adoption on Coinbase is a big deal, right? And it's not like, I mean, look, Ripple is, after all, a payment. It's a fast, scalable payment gateway, right? At the end of the day, how you transfer, it's utilized purely for payment channels. A lot of people just love Ripple, but I think from a technical standpoint, it's pretty straightforward. It's just that they were able to garner and raise a lot of funds, and naturally they were very aggressive in terms of their marketing. For example, they were even on Ellen DeGeneres show, and they were very generous, giving out $3 million to a charity from Ellen DeGeneres, where Ellen DeGeneres supports. So there is these kind of things happening, right? Strong, very, very strong marketing. So this is the part where any kind of coin that is listed on Coinbase automatically gets some form of a pump, but it's always short-lived. Okay, it's always short-lived. You kind of have to get a feel of it. And that is why in 2019, right, we are going to be launching a quarterly report for our private group, where this quarterly report covers the overall state of the market, how we feel about various types of asset classes. We're going to cover a bit of the Forex markets as well. And at the same time, those who are interested, right? Those who are interested in creating a portfolio within cryptocurrencies, we will be sharing, especially the directors will be sharing what are our thoughts about the various cryptocurrencies within this portfolio. So those are available for in our premier group, and we're going to be calling it CG Protégé for this year. It's launching on the 1st of March. So stay tuned for details if you guys are interested. In terms of, I think I covered a section on the I covered a little bit on the questions yesterday, right? The questions that you kind of want to ask in the future going forward would be, do some research on that particular token first, right? And instead of the what are your thoughts questions, perhaps you can kind of narrow it down. For example, maybe Ripple has recently developed this. What are your thoughts on this? Because how I feel this could actually enhance the existing system. It's not really an improvement from the previous version. You see, from there, not only am I learning from you, because sometimes you're more in tune with your particular investment, because maybe you have skin in the game or you have interest in that particular project, whereas I do not have interest in that project, or I am not even looking at it. Because, my dear friends, there are 2,000 over cryptocurrencies as we speak today. Is everyone going to survive? Definitely not. This is a startup space at the end of the day. So if you ask me, will there be more opportunities for failure? Definitely, right? But for every single failure, right, there's going to be one project that is going to do extremely well. So it's a numbers game at the end of the day. And you have to learn how to identify the projects that are going to do well in the space, right? So you have to look at, so we look from top down, right? We look at the various industries at the moment, okay? What are their problems? And existingly, are there already software solutions that are catered to this market? Let's not include blockchain, okay? Let's stop this blockchain, cryptocurrency, decentralized, DLT fluff words, okay? These are not fluff words. These are actual words that are used within the space. But however, are these solutions that are built on a blockchain viable for the existing industries now? So what I like about blockchain is the immutability. When you are not able to change the data at will, okay, that way, once it's recorded on the blockchain, you can't reverse it. But if you're talking about a permissioned blockchain, that means we have to make sure that the people who are entering the data onto the blockchain are of course accredited, not accredited, but as in credible, right? This is the part where it gets a little bit questionable, guys, because it is not a consensus anymore. It is a permission network. So everyone who is storing their data onto that particular blockchain that is built for a particular company, the company will think, I don't want anybody and everybody to access my blockchain or be able to put in data. I want to work with my strategic partners. So that part, it becomes a little bit questionable. So will this eventual database be allowed across multiple companies, right? Obviously, it's going to be allowed across multiple companies, or at least the key partners who are able to contribute their data in that sense, or validate certain data. Okay, let me give you a scenario. It's not happening now, but let me give you a scenario. For example, let's say in the healthcare space, and you are a patient, okay? You've gone to this particular hospital before with a prior condition, okay? So you already had your checkup or whatever you need, but however, you are traveling, okay? And you suddenly needed some help. let's say you fell sick or whatever, and then in another state, and you had to go in and you had to be admitted to the hospital. From there, they can pull up the data from this blockchain or this database, this network. Okay, let's call it network. Let's not call it a database. But there's only so little things that they can see, because every time there's this privacy policy where whatever that you do in terms of tests, drawing blood or whatever, right, is all done in that particular hospital. And whatever data, certain data and results cannot be shared across the various hospitals. Okay, there's no such thing. So that part, you have to start doing all the tests again, and it incurs costs for you as a patient. But what if there was a system that links up all the data and all the tests that you have done, and one click the person already will see, oh, okay, your last checkup was this was the result of your blood pressure, your resting heart rate, your so on and so forth. Okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm just giving you an example. So from there, that person or at least the doctor or the nurse that is looking at your records will not put you through a series of tests again, right? And incur unnecessary costs. Okay, from there they know, okay, you have this condition, what is wrong with you today? They can get down to it. So this is an example of how I see blockchain can generally help. But however, same thing, is always the privacy policies. Why should we be sharing this kind of data? There is that layer. Okay, so now we talk about money. So same thing, people who are interested in any kind of payment gateway or buying a cryptocurrency. All right, Vays is here, guys. Finally, Vays is here. My goodness. All right, let's go. Okay, he kind of came in and dropped out. Wait, let me see. Probably it's the connection. Give us a second. He just raised his hand. Okay. Hi there, Tone. I can't hear you, my friend. Wait, let me see. Let me give you. Wait, you're unmuted already. Okay. Yep. You're good to go. Actually, I'm not sure why I can't hear you. Wait, let me see. Hello. Hi there, Tone. Okay. Hi. Wait, let me see. This is weird. Tone, you're not on mute, right? You mind rejoining again, probably? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties as all live streams. So just be a little bit patient, and then we can start the show. My goodness, what is going on? Mike, is there any reason why Tone is not able to talk? Hey, Tone? He's on the road, guys, so it's gonna be a little bit challenging. But let me see. Sorry, facing some technical difficulties. I think Tone is very kind, because I think he's now running on 4G. If I look at it correctly, So imagine it's gonna be a bit. It's gonna be one of those things. So everyone will lose their private keys just like they forgot their passwords. It is very possible. Yes. It has happened before. Tone, I see you. I see you clearly, but I can't hear you, my friend. You're already allowed to talk and all. Wait, let me see. Okay, wait. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Wait. I heard you before, but now I don't. Okay. I don't hear you at all, actually. Right? So that. Oh,
I hear you.
I hear you now. Okay, I got you. God. Okay, finally.
Hey, my bad. My calendar says we're not supposed to go live for another 8 minutes. Like I thought I was joining early.
Oh, no, it's 12 o'clock Singapore time. You're 2 hours before, right? Correct?
No, I'm 2.5 hours. I'm in India.
Oh.
India is in a half hour. It's the most insane system ever.
Bro, you told me that you would be 2 hours before on the email. So you didn't mention 2.5. It was 2.5, then I would have said it. Okay.
Yeah,
No worries, man.
yeah,
So,
it's two half.
so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Tone, today is a Tuesday. So how's everything been? Why are you in India, by the way?
Oh, that's a good question. So it was I had a little gap in my travel schedule, and so at a conference in India came up, and I had to go from Thailand to Europe.
Okay, a little bit laggy, a little bit laggy. We lost you there. We lost you there, Tone. Like completely lost.
Hey,
This, of course, guys, like I said, this is one of those this is one of those things when you go
India's back.
sorry. I lost you completely, Tone. We lost you for at least a good 1 minute.
Okay. Oh, that's not good.
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Oh, it's okay. All right. So we're actually gonna pull the car over. So it was just bad timing, like because of my kind of life schedule. We have good internet right now. I'm gonna pulling the car over. So
Okay.
I ended up in India to speak at a conference, and I wanted to see it. I wanted to gauge the Indian market. Like unless you go to a country, you don't really know what's going on there, especially from
Lost you there, bro.
the
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. It's just lagging. Because he's on 4G, so it's gonna be Tone. Yep. No worries, guys. Like I said, he's on 4G at the moment. So, as when you're traveling, usually when you want to do any kind of voice over IP or any kind of video, it's always more challenging. So, but like nonetheless, guys, Tone's insights are definitely one of the best in the space. That's why we were very privileged to get him on the stream. And like I said, I think for someone who used to be in the private banks and used to function in the derivatives and the capital markets, his insights are definitely one of the most valuable. And like I said, right now we're going to be covering the state of the market. And of course, we hope that in terms of his internet will improve. But if it doesn't, then we can always do a pre-recorded version. But stay tuned and we'll update very quickly. He kind of dropped out, then we have to go back in again. He'll come back in shortly. So good evening, Abdel. Tomo Chain. Now, Tomo Chain is a cryptocurrency that I have not, or a network, right? From what I understand, that it's a smart contract protocol as well. But you know, there are so many functionalities on various different chains and different tokenomics. If I haven't read into it, it is best that I don't comment about it. But yes, I've heard about Tomo Chain. Okay, he's back. Probably, I think the internet is a little bit because of the fact that he's traveling in network and all that. It probably takes time for him to have the voice and everything, because there's nothing that has changed on my side. Everything is the same. We do live almost every day, so let's just see whether he comes back.
No.
Okay, it's very laggy, Tone. It's very, very laggy. Are you able to maybe cut the video and then go on voice? Would that be?
Hey man, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're just very laggy. But I think you're good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, let's try one last time.
Yep.
I have no video. I have only audio.
Yes.
Maybe this will finally work.
Yeah. It seems to be working so far.
Okay, great. Let's
Okay.
I'm not going to be driving. We're going to hang out here for a little
Yep.
bit. All right. So I'll make it quick.
Yep.
So I wanted to see what it's like in India in the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So I came here, crypto is illegal, and everyone's talking about blockchain. I tried correcting people and explaining that blockchain without Bitcoin is kind of useless. It's just another database which has all the disadvantages of decentralization with none of the advantages. So it's actually one of the worst things you can do. Like if you're going to use a blockchain in your business without Bitcoin, there is a 90% chance you're basically going to make your business worse than better. You can convince other people and get money for your business. You can get a bunch of clients by convincing them that you have some kind of more useful operation, but in reality, you're offering them something that's significantly more like bad. So it doesn't make sense to me at all. And I tried, speaking about that and correcting people, but I don't know.
So far okay, you've been in the space since 2014, or is that even earlier?
A little earlier. So I've been public about being in the space since 2014. I was in the space about a year before I opened my mouth publicly. So I took my time trying to understand what's going on. And then I started, I wrote an article here and there. It was about 2 years before I came onto a video. Like it took a while, right? It bothers me how people learn about Bitcoin a week ago and now they're all over television trying to tell people what's going on. Or even like they learned about blockchain 2 weeks ago and now they've written a book. Like it's insane.
Okay, how dirty can we go in this interview? I just want to know, how deep can we go? I can't hear you, Tone.
Yeah, it's not good. No.
Which one is it connected to us?
I can hear you now.
As deep as you like. Just as long as
No, don't worry, man. It's all about being honest, right? Because you have very strong sentiments, and I think at the time, right, when I started my channel, your channel was in fact growing as well, right? And that was when I kind of saw you. I started seeing your channel because hey, this guy used to be in risk. He used to be from in risk, and I think he understands the space quite a bit, and at the same time he does trading. He doesn't trade, you don't trade exactly in crypto, right? You're more of a derivatives trader rather than a crypto altcoin trader. Now the thing is, I think you also have very strong sentiments about Ethereum and the tokens that have all appeared from the ICO space. So I think it's more of letting people know. I think you've always been letting people know on why you thought Ethereum is a scam, why you thought, the various things you thought was scam. I think so far everyone kind of deemed you as a Bitcoin maximalist, but so far, are you still a maximalist despite the fact that you're seeing the space start to shape up a little bit, or you don't feel that way at all? You still feel that the whole space is still, especially the ICO space, right? Do you still feel that that part is scammy as shit, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I have not changed my mind about Ethereum. I have not changed my mind about the other altcoins. But there's a couple of things there, right? I just want to make sure that I'm correcting. So at the moment, I'm not actually trading because look at me, I'm traveling to rural India, right?
Sure.
And the only way to actually trade is if that's your job, you're focused on trading. My job is to educate people about the blockchain and Bitcoin. So, and I had one trade that was gonna make me, tens, if not, 20, 30 Bitcoin. I had one perfect trade this year. I entered the trade. I was stupid enough to make that trade public and inform the world I was making that trade. That led me to being banned from the exchange, having my positions liquidated about 2 days before the market crashed, and those positions were very heavily leveraged to the short side. So by me making my one trade public, I ended up losing money on that trade and not making money. Like, to me, after 15 years of trading, I've come to the realization that I only want to make 4 to 5 trades a year. That's all I want to do. And if the market only gives me one trade a year, that's the trade I'm going to make. If the market doesn't give me any trades this year, I'm not going to make any trades. I'd rather make 2 or 3 trades I am so certain about, and these trades are going to make me a lot of money. So I saw one trade this year in Bitcoin. It was the only trade worth taking. I shorted the hell out of Bitcoin in mid-October at about $6,100, anticipating a 50% crash. And it was a heavily leveraged trade. I even had a much bigger trade shorting the hell out of Bcash, anticipating a complete disaster during their hard fork. And those 2 trades would have made me more money this year than probably the majority of the traders just on 2 trades. Exactly. And I had no intention of making other trades. Now I actually lost money on those trades because I was removed from the exchange, right? So and the exchange had reasons to do it, right? I brought unnecessary attention. Like, there were like dozens of articles written about that trade. So I don't actually trade right now. I have my own proven strategies in the option space, option spread space. I used to trade them all the time. Again, because I'm so busy these days, I'm taking a step back. But I am teaching people how to be more responsible traders. Trading isn't going anywhere, but me traveling the world 4 or 5 months at a time, eventually that's going to stop, and I can go back to trading. Now, trading something and understanding the fundamentals of something are very different things. I tell people, hey, leverage and high volatility is nothing new. It existed. Go trade penny stocks. Go trade stocks on the pink sheets that are worth less than a penny. They go up 400% or 500% all the time, right? Like, this is nothing new. Now, what bothers me is if I look at a penny stock, say a stock that's worth 3 cents, right? And this is a real company. It has real employees. They actually have a real business, and their business is internet searches. And to me, someone comes up to me and says, hey, you got to buy this company XYZ. They are better than Google. They are going to destroy Google. I go, are they publicly traded? They go, yes, they are. How much is their stock worth? Their stock's worth 3 cents. I'm like, yes, that company is going to destroy Google. Correct. Right? That's what bothers me, right? So when I look at the altcoin space, I see something like Ripple and I see something like Tron, and I see all of this other nonsense like Digibyte or whatever it is. That's what it is. It's a sub penny stock that's overhyped by people that just don't understand the technology.
Okay. And right now, right? Okay, I guess when you talk about
their sub penny stock is better than Google.
Right. Okay, I kind of lost you there. Did you just stop talking or?
Right. No. Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back. Right. Because I just lost you. I lost you intermittently.
Right. Oh, okay. So real quick. So when I see that, look, you can trade whatever you like. You can trade the biggest scams out there. You can trade Ripple. You can trade anything in any of the 2,000 cryptocurrencies you like. But what bothers me is people that are is somehow technologically superior to something like Bitcoin. So I have nothing against traders. I have nothing against people trading Ethereum. But Ethereum is unscalable project that Ethereum is an unscalable project that shouldn't even exist because, in my opinion, they broke all kinds of security laws in order to fund the project. So it shouldn't even exist according to laws and regulations. That.
But hang on, but didn't SEC Jay Clayton actually cleared them, or at least SEC cleared them from being a security? What are your thoughts about that then? Because I watched your show a long time ago, and that was even before this whole SEC debacle, where they were basically looking through various projects in the space, determining whether they were securities or not. Now this is nothing to do whether you feel that they broke security laws or whatever, but the fact that they did give a go ahead or they deemed Ethereum not a security, right?
No, that's incorrect.
Okay.
They haven't officially said anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was a high level employee. It wasn't Jay Clayton. It was a high level employee that stated in a speech that, in his opinion, Ethereum is currently not a security. Now, there's two things there. One, it's his opinion, and it's still to be official. Two, it's he said it's not a security today, and he also said it might have been a security when they launched it, right? So even if the SEC does come out, they might come out, it was a security, they did break the laws, but it was 4 years ago. If anyone does it again, we're going to be on top of it.
Right.
But now it's too late to do something, right? So my ethics are, I guess, a little bit higher than than the people that created Ethereum, and I will always say that they broke the law. Now you can say, hey, Satoshi also broke the law, but not exactly. Bitcoin was never a security. Satoshi never solicited money from the uneducated public to create Bitcoin. He built the code himself. He launched the code himself, right? So granted, maybe creating your own money is illegal, and creating your own money is a law I may or may not agree with, right? Bitcoin is an exception. Bitcoin was a technological innovation. Ethereum is not a technological innovation. So some people can call me hypocritical on this, but I can debate that, So that's my view on it. Ripple the same way. I believe Ripple is a security. Will the government agree with me or disagree with me? I don't know. But I'm very critical of Ripple because that token also doesn't have a need to exist. So I can break down almost every single altcoin besides Bitcoin fundamentally and explain why this project should not exist. And in the long run, it probably won't exist. But that is independent of someone's ability to trade it and profit from it. Now, I also warn people not to trade on these unregulated exchanges, because most of them, they can steal your Bitcoin, they can steal your money, or the government can show up and shut them down and confiscate the money. There's just too much risk. Most people that attend my courses and learn how to trade, they found me because of crypto. They've been trading crypto. Once trading becomes your job, you don't want to jeopardize your job by losing all the money you have because the CEO decided to run away with your money. Yep. And this is why most of the people that come to me to learn how to trade through the crypto space, and they start trading in the crypto space, but their skills become a trader, they stop trading the crypto space and they utilize their trading skills to trade the regulated markets.
Right. So how I see it is that you are, I would say to a certain level, you are like an evangelist in that sense, where you are already having your existing skill sets and you are kind of bringing those skill sets and what you understand, right? Hence bringing into the crypto space and teaching these people and educating these people what basically the do's and don'ts and what you see from the traditional markets and how efficient it is at the moment as compared to the crypto space, which is highly inefficient. Hence, you always have orders going through the stop losses and so on and so forth. And like you said, exchanges potentially serve as a security risk in themselves, right? Not having the licenses, and at the same time, they could just for example, the Quadriga CX exchange, right? Where the fella claims that he died. Until now, we don't even know whether he really did die. And at the same time, there's 140 million that's stuck on the exchange, or at least on the private wallet in that sense. There's no way that amount of money can be recovered if truly that has transpired. So yeah, I mean, I agree to that extent. Now, the thing that I want to touch base on very quickly is the ICO space. Do you feel that companies, right, who want to build in this space, are you saying that it's not right for them to go through this route, or do you feel that it's okay to go through this route, but if there was a higher level of transparency and of course and it can be done in a regulated manner, would you be open to at least saying that ICOs are not that bad if these perimeters are set up from the very get-go?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things there. So yes, I mean, doing an ICO is not, I don't see the difference between an ICO and an IPO, other than ICOs are collecting money before the project even exists. 80 or 90% of all the ICOs that have existed up to this point, they've pretty much been outright scams. And this is one of the problems. Now, can there be a regulatory structure to solicit money from people before you have a project, or basically an idea? You have an idea and you want to bring that idea to life. And should there be a regulatory structure to solicit money from the general public? There probably should be, but it has to be small. Like right now, people are collecting millions of dollars for these projects that no one understands, and they probably shouldn't exist. So I don't agree with it. My other problem with ICOs is technological. You're launching your ICO on top of another ICO like an Ethereum or an EOS. And if you talk to a real cryptographer, if you talk to a real, blockchain expert, they'll tell you that your ICO is built on top of an insecure ICO. And this is where the problem comes in. So even if you could build a regulatory structure around an ICO and make them honest and hold people accountable, you still have a technological problem when all of these ERC20 tokens on top of Ethereum stop functioning. Who's responsible and what happens?
Right. And if that's the case, right, would you say that the ICO would only be catered to the accredited investors, at least at the initial stages? But when does it actually open up, or when should it open up, or maybe not at all, to the public? You see, like what you said, the uneducated investor. So that's the part where I think you've been around the world for so many different conferences and talking to people. The so-called uneducated investor or participant, right, would very much like to participate. But however, if they were educated, and that's the problem, right? We face it because I used to be in banking, and we have to be licensed in order to recommend financial products. Probably the same thing as yourself, right? If we are not putting the client through a financial needs analysis, and from there they are part of the bank, hence they are customers of the bank, hence we are able to obviously provide them recommendations on their particular financial solutions or needs. But in this situation right now, everything seems to be public. There's no proper fact find of what kind of risk profile is this particular client. Hence, everything seems to be only for AI. But when will it ever come or be available for the public then? This is the part where I'm struggling. I'm struggling myself. And as an educator myself, I find that these people who are non-AI have no chance to participate. And I think Amir Rosiak, he kind of commented on that as well. So I'm just thinking, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. So let's talk about a real example, right? Let's talk about Facebook. It really bothers me when I see people go on stage and try to convince people to invest in their project, and they use something like Facebook. You did not have a chance to invest in the early days of Facebook. What they don't say is, when Facebook came onto the scene, just go watch the movie. Even Mark Zuckerberg said, why would I launch another social network? You already have MySpace. You already have Friendster. He was very late to the party. And what they don't tell you is that more money was lost investing in competitors of Facebook than made from investing in the early stages of Facebook, okay? The average person would have probably lost all of their money trying to invest in Friendster, MySpace, and Wimit, and High Five, and I can name them all day because I was in college when all of those things were coming out. So the average investor has no ability to pick winners and losers. When was a good time to invest in Facebook? Well, Facebook eventually went IPO. Now, the IPO had unreasonable hype around it. The IPO opened at $40 a share. So if you jumped on the IPO the moment it opened, you also lost 50% of your money because it fell down to $20. But then from $20, it went all the way to $200. But the average investor keeps listening to the same people that trying to get him to invest in their speculative project, but is never recommending for him to invest in a project that already has customers, that already has revenue, that is already winning. And even if you invested in Facebook at the IPO at the worst possible time you could have invested in it and immediately lost 50% of your money, you still tripled your money over the next 4 to 5 years or over the next 10 years as it went up to $200. And if you were a little bit patient and you waited after the IPO, you could have picked up Facebook at $20 and made 10 times your money. But if you started investing in the social networking space as a high net worth individual, you probably would have lost it all in MySpace. So it's very disingenuous. So the answer is, when should the person that doesn't have the ability to actually look into these projects, and worst of all, doesn't have the ability to hold Facebook accountable. When high net worth individuals invest in the early stages of Facebook, they are involved in that project. They don't just hand Zuckerberg $20 million to do whatever he wants with it, right? Sure. They keep an eye on that project. They have lawyers to make sure that if he does anything, unethical, he'll never get a chance to fundraise again. And the average person doesn't have these kinds of resources.
That's right.
So the answer is, when does a person that actually has a day job should be investing in these projects? And the answer is, when they have already proven something.
So that means when obviously there is a valuation, or at least that's something that they can declare upfront, right? Having a product literally that works, and at the same time there is adoption that you can see, and at the same time you can obviously put it down on paper. Is that what you're trying to say?
Pretty much, yeah. And yeah. So
but
right
okay,
now,
wait, don't hold on. What about for the fact that people will know that, hey man, if that were the case, I would already be buying when the valuations are already 1000x to 2000x. ICOs give me the chance to come in at a very early stage for very little, right? That's obviously the thing that they have always been asking you, right? And I mean, I feel the same way. I think I've been mentioning this about investing in companies that actually declare that they have damn revenue, or they declare that they have some kind of profits. From then, it justifies whatever they tend to do, a buyback or whatever. I tend to kind of go in that direction as well. Which brings me to the next point of the STO market, right? Or the term STO is still undefined. It's just a fluff word, in my opinion, and it's a securitized version of the tokens that we know today. Do you see that necessary, or do you feel that why the heck is this whole STO space starting to form up when you can just clearly do an IPO? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you can't do an IPO. That's the problem, right? Because to do an IPO, you need a company with some product, with some kind of revenue and some kind of a regulatory structure. An ICO is just, an STO is just an ICO. There's no difference between an STO and an ICO. They just renamed it because the ICO now sounds bad.
Can I kind of give you a little bit of insight on that? What if a company, right? What if a company genuinely was not big enough? They have products, they have customer base, they have revenue, but they are not big enough to do an IPO, or they don't have the funding to do an IPO, but they want to take this route. Does that work? Does that count?
It could count if there is a regulatory structure. You see, an IPO, there is more things to an IPO than just opening it up to the general public.
Sure.
I use this example in my presentation. Everyone has seen the movie Wolf of Wall Street, yep. But few people actually know what he went to prison for. What he went to prison for is his company was taking other companies through the IPO process. And during that process, they would give out preferential treatment to their friends and high net worth clients, telling them which ones are better buys, giving them discounts. Exactly what's happening in the ICO space with finding, influencers. Like, I get solicited all the time to promote these ICOs, and I always turn them down. So there's more to it than simply, hey, I can't. And the reason why it's so expensive to go IPO is because of those practices. It's because of all of this insider information. It's because of all this preferential treatment for your friends and influencers. Like, nothing here is new. It's all been done before, and people got in a lot of trouble for it, right? So if you tell me, hey, we can't afford this IPO process, but we have a company, we already have an idea, like it's actually pretty good, I say, fine. Now, how about a regulatory structure to make sure that, John McAfee isn't getting you didn't pay off John McAfee to promote your ICO, right? Mm-hmm. And no one thinks of that as being illegal, but it's very illegal.
Right. Yes. Okay. So if that
and immoral, right? So you need that regulatory structure, and you need a way to hold people accountable for preferential treatment on going toward on promoting it towards the general public.
Okay. So since that is the only barrier, right? In a sense, at least there has to be a regulatory framework in place before to me, I think, okay, this is how I think, right? The STO market, right? Because if you're large enough, you would definitely go and consider an IPO already. Okay, that's just a given. But there are companies that are in between that require scale, and they don't want to go begging to the VCs, right? So they want to do the STO route. And if they are more viable as opposed to companies that are coming in the ICO route, I guess it kind of makes it okay. But I guess it boils down to how are the investors coming in, and how transparent is that framework? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So, another thing. Okay, Tone. Right now, right, if someone was looking at this space at the moment, do you feel that the current let's say you've probably been talking to a number of projects, right? At least they will try to talk to you. Do you feel that in terms of the blockchain technology at the moment, how far are we away from actually having enterprise solutions literally be used? Like companies actually using blockchain technology, or are they just kind of observing and standing at the sidelines, putting a little bit of their marketing research money into blockchain technology, but in actual fact, they're always building something that is permission or private? What has been the sentiment on that part, the development part?
You know what? I'm not. Can you just rephrase your question?
Okay.
Just
Let's say if I was a company, okay? Let's say if I was a company at the moment and I'm looking at the blockchain space. So do you think that at the moment, right, the blockchain solution providers, okay, whether whatever they claim, whether is it Ethereum, EOS, NAM, Icon, or whatever, right? Do you think that they really are providing a solution to these companies? Because you always see strategic partnerships.
right.
Yeah. So that's what I meant. Do you think that you don't? Okay.
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. They're providing any solutions. They might be upgrading their database, but they're upgrading it in a long-term, inefficient way. I think that very few things actually need decentralization. Do we need more privacy? Absolutely. But I don't think a blockchain necessarily provides you privacy. And decentralization is very inefficient. Prior to Bitcoin, we had one example of decentralization that used to work. That was BitTorrent and file sharing. And look, when was the last time you used BitTorrent? Probably years ago. It's been years since I used it, because centralized solutions have made BitTorrent very useless. It's cheap to get music these days. It's cheap to get movies with better quality. Like decentralized solutions are very slow. They're very inefficient. They're very expensive, and eventually they break down to centralized solutions. And I don't believe that Ethereum is even decentralized. EOS, I know EOS is not decentralized. 21 people control every single transaction. All they have to do is get on a conference call every week, which I believe they do, and they can change anything they like. So I don't believe any of these solutions are actually decentralized. So no, I don't think they're offering anything to current businesses. The current businesses have inefficient databases based on 80s technology. Yes, they do need to upgrade their databases. They can hire better developers. But I don't think most of these companies are offering them anything all that useful.
Okay. So in terms of the okay, now I think everyone probably wants to hear your thoughts on this, right? But Bitcoin ETFs, and at the same time, you were head of research in Brave New Coin. I think Brave New Coins, right? Which has an index. So you notice that there is this there's these instruments, financial instruments that are forming up, right? For where the traditional exchanges and institutions want to step in, where everyone's talking about the institutional money, blah blah blah. How do you feel about how would this actually genuinely serve as a catalyst to help the markets move up? Or what do you feel are the various catalysts that could really push the market at least gradually up? Not now, but as in gradually back up.
Sure. So yes, I was with Brave New Coin in 2015. I helped build the original BLX index, which has since been, I believe, fully rebuilt. I left Brave New Coin in early 2016, so I haven't been with them in over 3 years. I haven't been involved in anything that they've done. So yeah, it was nice to see that index mentioned by NASDAQ because they probably built a pretty good index. You know, I'm sure it's been upgraded a dozen times since I left. And I think that it was very important for Bitcoin to get futures in the CME and the CBOE because it legitimized Bitcoin in the eyes of the regulatory structure of finance and Wall Street. Like, for example, it's very, and we all know that Bitcoin is not a security. That's been clearly stated by the SEC that Bitcoin is not a security. Now, Bitcoin can be traded as a commodity when it's traded in the futures markets. Bitcoin is traded as a commodity. Now, I think that went a long way. Backed, I don't see any, I read what backed was. Bakkt, I don't see a big difference between Bakkt and Coinbase, other than Bakkt is probably not interested in the scammy coins. Coinbase just added Ripple, which was very unfortunate. So Bakkt is simply another exchange. There is nothing innovative within Bakkt that I have seen. And again, they will help in the regulatory scheme because they are coming from the New York Stock Exchange and they know what they're doing when it comes to trading and exchanges. So that's another good thing. The ETF, I don't think the ETF is coming until maybe 2020. I think the ETF will eventually come, but there's two major problems with the ETF. One of them, the SEC talks about all the time. They don't have control of the underlying price discovery, and they don't trust it. They don't trust the underlying price discovery of Bitcoin, so they can't approve the ETF. The other problem, after they have a handle, and once Bakkt exists, maybe they'll be more open to, the SEC will be more open to the ETF because they'll have more control over price discovery, knowing that it's legit. The other problem is storage and security of the Bitcoins underlying the ETF. And they will then have to deal with who's responsible for the underlying coins. Is the SEC going to have one of the multi-keys, right? SEC holds a key. The exchange holds the key. Several exchanges hold the key, right? Like how do you protect the underlying Bitcoins from getting hacked? And my other issue is if the ETF starts becoming too popular and the ETF starts sucking up all the Bitcoin out of the ecosystem to underline the ETF, and the ETF happens to control, let's say 20, 30% of all the Bitcoins in existence, that creates a very dangerous environment because now the US government can go and confiscate those Bitcoins like they confiscated gold in the 1930s because everybody's gold was sitting at the banks. So if everyone starts using banks like Coinbase, keeping their Bitcoin at an exchange like Bakkt, let's say if they want to do Bitcoin storage for people, if a lot of Bitcoin is sitting in the ETF, we may come to a point in 10, 15 years from now where 40, 50% of all Bitcoin is technically under possible confiscation by a single government entity. And that scares me.
So right now, you just mentioned that if the multi-signature keys are held by the exchange, the central bank, the Feds, or whatever, okay, doesn't that give these people the power to control, which is what you said, which is to suck the liquidity out from the existing ecosystem? Isn't that what kind of people, that's what people don't want? At the end of the day, the reason why they were so big on Bitcoin, or at least I was big on Bitcoin, it was the fact that this was a decentralized money, a decentralized form of money. And the fact that right now it becomes like a frustration where you want the security, you want a certain level of transparency, but then again, it comes to the point where it seems like we're handing this sense of freedom back to the people who took it. How does that work, Tone?
Yeah, so well, it works correctly if you think about it correctly. The problem with a lot of people are only looking out for their own personal self-interest. Like, look, okay. I am not here to get, when I say I'm not here to get rich, people accuse me of lying. I tell people if I really wanted to get rich, I would have never quit my $150,000 Wall Street job in 2015 because by now I could have easily been making $250,000 and that would have been a pretty damn good salary. Instead, I quit that job and I made no money in the crypto space for over a year and a half trying to figure out how I was going to monetize, okay? So, no, it's not about money. So, sure, will the ETF raise the price of Bitcoin? Of course it will. Everyone is going to run out and buy the ETF through their brokerage firm. The ETF is going to suck liquidity out of the market. There'll be less Bitcoin in circulation, hence raising the price of Bitcoin. So yes, if you're in it only to get rich, you want the ETF as soon as possible. But if you think about the long-term ramifications of the ETF, I would rather not have it.
Okay. So Tone, just before I let you go, okay, right now, right, if you look at the whole space, okay, why 2020 is so important in your opinion that it could actually help out? Okay, it could actually make the market really move up hard. Is that going to be a fad, or it genuinely happens through historics? Every halving.
Well, sure. Well, I think this is the last halving that's going to have a very serious effect on the increase in the price of Bitcoin. And also because we are dealing with a big bear market. So 2020 comes in at a perfect time. It comes in after Bitcoin has already corrected 85% in value, and we have a halving. I think 2020 is just like, it's just a coincidence, really. And I think it might be the last coincidence, because after this halving, there'll only be six and a quarter Bitcoin coming in. And after that, it will be 3-something Bitcoin coming in. And we're already going to have most of the Bitcoin in circulation. This is probably the last halving that's going to have a very huge positive effect on Bitcoin. And it will be boosted by the fact that I believe Bitcoin should bottom towards the end of this year. So we're also going to have, the final bottoming of Bitcoin, and the hype should come back. So I do think 2020 is very important. But if anything, I think after the following halving, Bitcoin will probably correct, because people are going to be scared that there's no more new Bitcoin coming in and there's not enough Bitcoin to go around.
So, okay, your prediction, right? Does it still stand that it could still hit 5,000 first before going back down based on your stream, or has that changed?
I think that's changed after this big drop that just took place.
Okay.
I'm walking away. I mean, like, I expected the bull trap. My best guess for where that bull trap would be was going to be at around 5,000. It's possible that we hit 4,200 and that was it. This is why I do daily streams, trying to analyze the price. Every hour that goes by, your picture of the price changes. So that's why I try to bring daily videos to people. And being a trader is not about guessing the price. It's about money management. It's about being prepared, and it's about preserving your capital. And you could have still made money on the upswing. Just because it didn't go to 5,000 doesn't mean there isn't money to be made.
That's true. So guys, that is all for the stream. Check out Tone's website at www.tonevays.com. And of course, if you're interested in his courses, his workshops, or you want to catch him on various conferences, his website just has all the details, right? So Tone, thank you so much for coming on stream, man. Although you were late and stuff, but nonetheless, I think it's always good that you're still going to be able to come. And still, thanks for always supporting us little YouTubers, right? And I think enjoy your holiday. And if you're coming to Singapore, man, don't be a stranger. We'd love to have you alive here on the show as well.
I will be. I'll be there. I'll be there in October. So we'll definitely reach out.
All right, man.
And here's another view. I'm from a car on the road in rural India. Later, guys.
See you guys. Bye.